I worry about the impact on society. And yet, when I look at every single individual who uses AI regularly, it almost has nothing but profoundly positive impact on their life. I look at people like I was just spending some time with my parents-in-law who are in their 70s and early 80s, and they use AI regularly for all sorts of things that they find incredibly valuable and that improves the quality of their life. I personally did an M&A, a mergers and acquisitions deal, where I bought a company last year, and the AI was so powerful at helping that process. The conversations were transcribed and they were turned into letters of intent and then press releases and legal documents. And we probably shaved $100,000 worth of costs, and we sped up the whole process. And it was pretty magical to see how it could happen. With that said, there's all of these, like, well, $100,000 worth of lawyers didn't get paid, right? So,
well, what I want to know,
okay.
yeah,
there's a lot of people upset about that. No.
But if we look back at the invention of the cell phone or the invention of the social media platforms, there would be every reason to have exactly the same perspective, right? I remember the beginning of Facebook, and I remember the idea that suddenly the process that used to afflict people, where you would just lose touch with most of the people who had been important to you, that was not something that needed to happen anymore. You could just retain them permanently as a part of a diffuse social grouping that just simply grew and value was added. There's no end to how much good that did. But what it did to us was profound and not evident in the first chapter. Say the same thing about the cell phones and the dopamine traps and the way this has disconnected us from each other, the way it has disconnected us from nature, the way it has altered the very patterns with which we think. It has altered every classroom. So, and those things I think are going to turn out to have been sort of minor foreshadowings of the disruption that AI will produce. So I agree with you. Today, the amount you can do with AI, there's a tremendous amount of good. There's a little bit of harm. Maybe that's something we need to worry about. But as this develops, as we get to, to peer over the edge of this cliff that we're headed to, I think we're going to discover that we can't yet detect the nature of the alteration that's coming.
So I just wanted to add some context to that, because Amjad, I saw the interview you did in a newsletter in 2023 where you said, I wouldn't prepare for AGI in the same way that I wouldn't prepare for the end of days. It's effectively the end of days if the vision of AGI that some of these companies have comes to bear, because it's called a singularity moment, because you can't really predict what happens after that. And so, how would you even prepare for that? And you want to prepare for the more likely world, and that world that you can actually predict is a world where, yes, there's a massive improvements of technology, and there's insane compounding effects of technology, and it's pretty hard to keep up. From that, it appeared that in 2023, you were saying a similar thing to Brett in terms of we can't see around the corner here because it is a singularity.
You also used AGI, artificial general intelligence. It'd be interesting to know what your definition of AGI is, so that
So what I was saying there is, even if I'm wrong, that you can actually create a unbounded, seemingly conscious artificial intelligence that can entirely replace humans and can act autonomously in a way that even humans can't act, and can coordinate across different AIs, different data centers to take over the world. Even if that's so the definition of AGI is artificial general intelligence, meaning that AI can acquire new skills efficiently in the same way that humans can acquire skills. Right now, AIs don't acquire skills efficiently. They require a massive amount of energy and compute, entire data center of compute to acquire these skills. And I think there's a limit on how general intelligence can get. I think for most of the time, we're lagging in terms of what